Good morning and good evening. Welcome to this week's Circle of Harmony. And if we are not already doing it, just requesting us to ingather our consciousness with the help of the chant, with the help of our breath, and come to the present moment so that we can be more open, flexible, supple, and receive more in the next hour or however long we spend here today. So thank you for joining in. And the topic, as I'm assuming we all are aware, is death, a wake-up call. It's sad that we need such wake-up calls, but these are the facts of our existence. So it is what it is. So no matter what the price we have to pay, but if we wake up, I think it's a small price to pay to get awakened. So I had shared initially this quote from Sri Aurobindo. So it says that for whether I live or die, I am always. There are so many things which are beyond reason. There are so many things which are beyond facts. And when we read something like this, and when we know Sri Aurobindo has said it, it touches something. It affirms something. And if I'm scared, it helps me override that scare, that fear. So whether I live or die, I am always. Just wanted to start with this quote and invoking Sri Aurobindo and Mother's presence and grace as we begin this exploration on death And, of course, like every session, it would incorporate different things. That one is my own death. How do I take it? How can it help me to remember it again and again and not to forget it? Or how to not be obsessed with it, or to have too much fear of it? And how does it work when there are others around me, when somebody leaves the body? How do I take that? How do I face the pain, the shock? What is the purpose of diseases, of death? So if we, at least this is what I can think right now. And of course, as most sessions do, new things are revealed. And that this is why, this is a circle. This is not just a one-way dialogue. So as we all share, all question, all reflect, new and broader things come out, and thus we all gain looking out of different windows. So thanking Grace for this space and company. So before we delve into it, if there's any concern, any reflection, anything, they are welcome. And at any point, if you have any question or anything you would want to share, you can just unmute and just let the person who's talking finish, and please share. How about we share what comes to me when I hear the word death, or when I say looked at the poster, or how do I take death, or I don't know if there's anything of that accord. If we want to kickstart this with that, it's a weird discussion. We usually don't talk about it, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't talk about it, because at least right now it is a fact of our existence. So, okay, so there's nothing. Maybe we can start with the poster. So if anybody would like to read it, read the prose, the poem, whatever it is, we can take it up from there.
Yeah, I can do that.
Thank you, Cyrus.
Yeah. So, death, a wake up call. I can go mad with the emptiness and pain, or I can accept that you. Sorry, Jagan, messages come, so I can. Yeah. Or I can accept you have just gone first. I too am temporary, just like you, standing behind you in the same queue. Do you want me to go ahead or?
Yeah, you can just read the one on the right as well.
Okay. So, just one second. Yeah.
Yeah, take
Till
your
death,
time.
yeah. Till death or disease comes as a rude shock, my heart's doors are often knocked. I am so distracted with the rise and falls. Sleepwalking, I ignore all the wake up calls. I am always dancing to life's tunes. I pretend, I cling, I attach, I live a false life, wallowing between desires, pain, and delights. How will I win if I fight the wrong fights? I will be set on fire, you will light my pyre. This is how this life ends. If this is a fact, can I see it, face it, and change my ways and how my life is spent?
Yeah, thank you, Cyrus.
Sure.
So, there are two aspects of it that I could see. One is when something like this happens around me to someone. To the left side, we've already done a session on this, or two, I don't remember. So this is something from that prose, that it's maddening, right? Like the shock is too intense. It's unbelievable, because I consider myself to be a body, to be just a body, and I consider the other two to be just a body. So I don't know how to move forward. So I can go mad with the emptiness and pain, or I can accept you have just gone first. I too am temporary, just like you, standing behind you in the same queue. So, usually what I have seen is what happens that if somebody leaves us, it's like, oh my God, what has happened? What will happen? What will happen to me? How to make sense of it? What would life be? Where would life go? But one thing that I miss is that, okay, he's gone, she's gone, and so will I. Like that thing doesn't come back usually. So I just get lost in the drama and trauma of it rather than seeing that, oh, this too would happen. And what am I doing? I'm doing so much for so much. I'm doing so much for so many. But what am I doing to prepare myself for what will happen after death? Again, some things could sound just crazy that why would I go there? And yet, if I go there, I get more clarity, I get more light on something. And hopefully, with grace, may the fear around things evaporate. And may I be shown more light so that I can approach the topic more, I don't know, embrace it, because I have to go one day. So if I can prepare a bit for that, I feel that would be really beneficial. Yeah, so that was the first aspect, that how do I take it? How, I don't see the whole picture. I just see it's happened to me, and mostly it's about how my world would change with that person when that person has gone. I don't know how to live around without that person, and that's my thing. Like, why don't I know? Yeah. Yeah, Jagan, you had shared something. Would you like to, I don't know, share it, unmute and share? Or
That's hold on. I'm just in traffic and I hope I'm audible.
yeah, you're audible.
Okay. Yeah. So when I hear about that, especially right now and at this point of life, I find that there is a fear, that there is a dependency. By fear, it's not about losing the person, it's about having no idea as to what's going to happen after this. What will life be? Um, which is why, yeah. So, also there is this, um, and no, that's all, ma'am. That's all. That's basically what I feel. I'll add more later on. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So there's a fear because one doesn't know what happens after that, right? So again, then such sessions or more readings into that topic would probably give more light. So thank you for sharing. No, I think we can come back to it enough of the poem, and maybe we can read something from Mother and Sri Aurobindo that would throw more light. There were some interesting passages, small ones that I came across, which I thought would be good. So if anybody has the capacity, they can read this one. Otherwise, I'll go ahead.
Yeah, I can read this one.
Yes, Cyrus.
Old age.
Yeah.
Yeah. So old age and death. Only those years that are passed uselessly make you grow old. A year spent uselessly is a year during which no progress has been accomplished, no growth in consciousness has been achieved, no further step has been taken toward perfection. Concentrate your life to the realization of something higher and broader than yourself, and you will never feel the weight of the passing year.
we meet people who are so goal oriented, who are doing so much with their lives, especially if they are in service of humanity, that they are so old and yet they are so alive and they are so active. So here, it is said that only those years that are passed uselessly make you grow old. And that useless could be anything, right? Like actively you could be doing something, but it's not amounting to anything, which is a lot of our lives. So those are the years which make you grow old. So year where no progress has been accomplished is a useless year. No growth in consciousness has been achieved is a useless year. No further step has been taken towards perfection is a useless year. And we value life, right? And year that, oh, another birthday, another birthday. So what am I doing with my life? What should also matter, right? Rather than just feeling scared that, oh, it will end or I'm getting too old. So consecrate your life to the realization of something higher and broader than yourself, Mother says, and you will never feel the weight of the passing year. So you'll be so busy making that realization happen. The goal is so big and high and broad that you don't matter. So you will never feel the weight of the passing year. So just a very, simple window into it, and yet so beautiful, because lot of times I feel we touch this phase that, oh, I'm getting old, or what have I done? So that's in the past, right? Okay, if I haven't done, let me do something now. So I can always turn around things and not grow old, not feel the age. Yeah. I don't know if this was resonating, but I had liked it. So, yeah. So, unless I see somebody unmute, yes, Iris.
Yeah, no, I think this was a very nice, passage. Your last line was, to do properly something now or something new, right? So, like, what would that be? Like, like you said, some of us, who are in the corporate field, we would also be working in and out, and like you said, sometimes it's not meaningful at all. But I'm just trying to, get at that point that what is that something that we are talking about? Like, would it only mean the social part of it, like social service or helping, fellow humans or creatures or whatever? Or are you talking about something else here?
Yes, Iris, I am talking about something that makes me feel alive. I am talking about something that, I don't know, feels that, oh, this is a right thing. This is what I'm just truly delighted to do. So, here I'm in Delhi these days, and I am, frequently visiting the Delhi ashram. And I see Tara Didi, Tara Didi, she has grown up with the mother. She's, I think, 87. And if somebody, I think if there are 100 people who visit her every day, almost maybe 95 would ask, Didi, how are you? How's the health? And she discounts that question so ruthlessly that, why do you talk about it? I'm perfect. Like, you
Right.
tell me how's your health, because mine is perfect. Like, she has such huge goals. The things that she is doing at that age and what she has done in her life, the projects, the countless projects she has, each and every bill of each and every department has to go through her, so that she knows what's happening, and also so much work. And so who has time to think, how's my health? There's so much to do. But it's like, I don't know, this is a very recent thing. So I was having a conversation with a friend, and whenever I have to achieve something in life, something, huge ambitions, if I have to become a politician, an actor, a CEO, or whatever, it feels that I have to trade some part of my soul for that. Like, these achievements, they don't come without paying price, and the price is usually me. If you ask a small child, like say a 3-year-old or something, I remember when my child was 3, and one morning, I asked him, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he said, I want to be a pig. And I was like, why a pig? Because he said, I love to do oink oink. So I just want to do oink 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 oink. And that's what he did for the next hour. But when we grow up, there's so many things that we feel we need to do, we think we have to do, or this is the definition of a successful person, and I want to be called a successful person, a well established person. The society says that's the thing, and then I just forget my dreams, right? When we are young, usually a lot of us want to be magicians and artists and painters and photographers, but somewhere, life kicks hits and people say that, oh, come on, how can you earn money in that? So when that switch happens, you feel there's something that's not right. And yet there is so much that looks that you will gain from that switch, that I sell. I sell myself and I go on that route. So if I'm okay there, I must remain till I'm not okay. But if I'm not okay, I should see that, okay, I've spent say 40, 45, 50 years of my life doing this, and still there is this lack. This is what I think midlife crisis is all about. We feel that, okay, this is where I want to achieve. This is the money I want. This is the car I want to drive. This is the bungalow, this kind of wife, this many kids. And then when we get all that, if we are lucky enough to get all that, we see the lack, the hole inside is still as much there. So if there is grace, then you wake up. And if there is not, you buy another Ferrari, right? Thinking that probably this would fill it, and nothing does. So I cannot be that clever that I also keep doing things that, I feel give me the gain that looks like, my precious, and I have it. And then say, but, life feels empty. Of course, what will it feel if not empty? So just, if I have the courage, the guts, the grace to connect within and see what gives me joy, I can start that with my job if I want. Any hobby anything that I wanted as when I was younger, or even right now, if I want to learn a musical instrument, if I want to start singing, jogging, running a marathon, anything, because life is short and it will end. And let me live a big life. Again, I mean, it might sound that, okay, sunne, it's sounding good, but it's not practical. And so is a 87-year-old running a full Delhi ashram. It's not practical. And there is the energy, there is a divinity that is running that. And I'm just not using her example. Again and again, we see that anytime we have given, or someone has given their life for something big, it's as if just grace is carrying things forward. We have often discussed that book Cave in the Snow by Jetsunmala Tenzin Palmo, the Buddhist nun. And we had, I had the blessing to visit her nunnery last year. And from where she started, what she was, to when you actually, after reading the book, and then I was standing in front of the nunnery, it was like, wow, is this magic? Like, is this real? So anytime we want something big and we aspire for it and we are ready to give ourselves, it's not us anymore. There is some grace that comes, there is some power that comes and that takes over. So it's beyond logic. So if I keep sitting here and thinking, okay, it's not practical, it's not logical, so that means I'm still bowing my head to the practical, to the logical, and the beauty escapes, right? So it might look far if it is looking far, but one day it will have to be my reality, because I have not come here to do these chores, to do these things, most of the things that I do. There must be a greater purpose for me. to be here. And it's very interesting, lot of times after NDEs, and I know we have discussed this before, after near death experiences, out of body experiences, lot of people are connected to why they were born, and they suddenly, I don't know, change fields, and they end up doing something which is like, it really makes a difference, no matter how small, to the world. So we are all here for something big. We keep doing the small, the petty, the greedy, the grasping, and then we say, oh, life doesn't, it's, I don't know, I need a beer, I need a cigarette to make me feel that life is amounting to something, and it's very temporary.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It was very well explained. Thank you.
So, Cyrus, while you are unmuted, why don't you share with us what you feel would gives you the delight? Like, is there something you can think of right now or as a child that you really like? No
Yeah,
logic, no practical,
yeah.
just anything.
To be honest, you mentioned something that makes you feel alive, but I don't think I've got there, to be honest. I'll be on frank. And I think so. That's what I'm saying. Thanks for this is something I have to put more effort in. Is what I feel. Because I too believe there would be something. There would be something more, because I certainly have a lot of likes.
Mm.
In different fields, and sports, music, and this, but uh, I mean, and also social service, and I even turned veg because of animals. So those things drive me. But I don't think I put heartfelt efforts. I guess I have to maybe think more, or dive little more inside, and
Yeah,
ask little more questions.
yeah,
That's what I feel.
yeah.
I have few things that really excite me, but I think there's more that I can give, I'm sure.
Mm,
So that's what I would like to say.
right. Today I went somewhere, and my now 9-year-old. So there was a Didi sitting again somewhere in the Delhi ashram only. And something happened, and a child came to her, and Didi said, आप अपने अंदर वाले दोस्त से पूछो ना कि आप क्या करना चाहते हो. मतलब he was saying, मेरे को समझ नहीं आ रहा कि चेस खेलूं, कि ये करूं, कि वो करूं. So even for the smallest thing, the teacher was saying that why don't you ask your friend who lives inside of you that what should you do. And then I went to the Didi and I said, Didi, what is this andar wala friend? Like, how do you explain it to the child? And she said, a psychic being. So when we have to introduce the concept of the psychic being to a child, we say your friend who lives inside you, your true friend. So again, not much effort needed, not much, because when you were saying, Cyrus, again, it sounded heavy, that it's a big load, big things that would need to be done, but rather it's the opposite. When we let go of the big things that we feel we need to do, these connections then become easier, right? So, andar wala dost. Yeah,
Yeah, makes sense. Thanks.
yeah, thank you. Yes, Jagan, sorry, I think you're muted twice, unmuted, but I kept talking.
No, no, I'm glad I could listen. Thank you. Cyrus, whatever you just said, I resonate with it so much because even I am also in a similar journey. The thing I find and I can really share here is, um, every time, like I'm in the corporate world. I'm in the corporate world. The life was so much simple as a kid. There was something in my head. My father would ask me, "What do you want to grow up, do when you grow up?" And I love bus driving. I would say I love to drive a bus when I grow up. And now, every time I find something that I resonate with, and then I go back to my house, go back to my office, and when I see my friends, they say, I got a car, I got a Tesla, I got a house, I'm getting this and I'm getting that. All these material things sort of sort of take me away from what I am here for. And then I start questioning everything. Then I'm all confused. Then I hold on to something that I really don't, connect with. And then I suffer, in the process of achieving those material things, I suffer. So for me, what has really helped is by not just attending the sessions. Like the sessions have been really big part of my life, especially in recognizing this. But also, when I go to Pondicherry, or when I meet a few people, they make me realize that there is more to life than just these material things. Like, day before yesterday, I've been to this homeopathic doctor. Like, she's a very famous doctor in Hyderabad, and people from all around the world come to visit her. I went there for the first time, and when I see this lady in a very small old office with old books, old seating and everything, very congested, and in a very simple house. And she didn't even look like a doctor. And she's charging like 400, 500 rupees per person, which is like nothing in this day and age. And you know the passion she had for her craft, for the medicine, and the way she was handling the medicine, before she handed me the medicine, she said, "Say Jai Sri Ram." And I said, "Jai Sri Ram." And I was so happy to just see her. You know, did she have a nice car? No. Did she have anything fancy? No. But there was something in her that I was getting attracted to. And I was like, this is how life needs to be. And so, to answer your question, I'll make it quick. What I am doing right now is, although I'm still in my corporate world, I'm experimenting because that since I don't know what I really need, what I'm doing is I'm experimenting different things. Like I'm trying to like you said, music, all these things. I haven't really reached that point where I'm practicing yet, but I'm experimenting different things and seeing what I resonate with. And I find that just by doing that, it really helps me. And if you can see this picture of the profile photo I put there, I actually put that as a reminder for myself that this is the symbol of mother. And if you can see there are different chambers: sincerity, humility, peace. So the the goal right now is to hold on to one of those chambers, one of those attributes, and try to practice it. Try to be more aware of my actions and practice it. And what I'm telling mother is that, mother, let me do one at a time, and let me complete the circle. And I have full faith in mother that when I become this person, then I will have enough, mindfulness in me that I know what I have to do. So for now, this is the goal. Um, so yeah, that's what I wanted to share, Sari. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for that. Very useful. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, Pranav, please.
Yeah, actually, I was listening to this discussion. I think one thing you rightly said that most of us, actually, I'm also from corporate world. I was listening to the Cyrus. See, the thing is, there's the real life when you look now, like very materialistic level. We are mostly getting driven by what society expects from us. They're trying to meet expectation of others. Maybe or bosses or colleagues or maybe subordinates. In the process, we get lost. We get lost because we are too much, getting attached somewhat to those, kind of either possessions, either or certain kind of, I would say, expectations that would materialistic. So we are kind of getting disconnected. As you said, internal friend, inner friend. Probably that is one thing because if we do that, we can get connected. The question is now, if I do my own case, I only started with a simple thing. So like, for me, if it is early morning walk, for example, there's a time when I connect with the nature with me. When there nobody is there, I start very early, 5:30, 6 o'clock. So I started with practice, a simple practice actually, just to connect with me, with my own thoughts, my own feelings, and naturally, that is one thing I do, and I realized, and then followed by the breathing exercises, some 15, 20 minutes. This is simple practice that I'm trying to do. And after I've realized it, that my day goes better, and there's a time, morning for those 1 hour for me, like, it's very soothing time. The best thing I would say to answer, connect with your thinking, like give me delight basically. And also maybe the evening walks after dinner, again going to the terrace. These are the simple practices, I try to do. And I think I also was quite happy to see that symbol is very good thing to do because there are 12, there are 12 chant. But yes, if we keep, kind of start practicing, take up two most relevant in our field. That's how it will happen. Because there is a way probably we can, not get afraid of the death. Because, see, one way we die every day because we sleep, we forget everything. See, when you go to sleep, then you are totally disconnected with, everybody unless you are dreaming sometimes. So one way, by one concept, if one accepts the fact that he's a practically facing a death-like situation, the sense like he's changing the consciousness from waking to sleep state. If we connect that way, probably that will help, give one closer to the reality and also live a better life. This is my thinking, and naturally it is a slow process. And corporate world, is difficult because you get across different type of people, variety. The good thing with corporate is that you have, kind of n variety of people. So we have to then filtering helps. See what happens that we start filtering those kind of simple practices. If we do, maybe pick up two attributes of those 12, like circle, but at sheer talk, that can help us. Is the way to go ahead.
Yes, thank you. There was something with your mic I could understand, but I don't know. There was some echo which was making it a bit difficult. Two things I would like to say on your sharing that came to me. One thing you said, the real life. And then when you were talking about the best part of your day, so first you called the corporate world the real life. And then when you were talking about your day, you were talking about, okay, the morning walks and the evening walks when I connect with the nature are most beautiful. So I think one thing that we need to reflect on within ourselves, that what is real for me. It's often said, I've heard it from many masters and mystics, that true progress starts happening when we consider this, the magic, the mystical, the gnostic, to be as real as this everyday life. If the joy that I feel in my heart is as real as this thing that I'm holding, that yes, I can see it exists, it is real. Then the true progress happen, because the point is that we all get experiences, the glimpses of the bliss of the divine, but we say, no, but this is real. I might have hallucinated, or I might have just assumed, or, it happened, but it just happened once. But Mother says never to forget those experiences. Always remember, because when you remember, it will grow, the power would grow, sorry. And more such experiences you will attract. But as long as I say, okay, this is my real life and this is the spiritual activities that I do, those would be that's a very good starting point, very good starting point. And it's so great if we can do it, because a lot of us can't. But knowing that I have to make 24 hours of mindfulness, of awareness, of as much consciousness as I can give, I must give, so that I'm not wasting any time in the things that are not needed. Because I have chosen the corporate, I have chosen my job, I have chosen what I have done with my day, what I decide to do with my day. It might seem to me that no, now I'm bound. No, I don't have a choice. But we do have a choice. Today, if I was to leave the body, what would happen? Who would pay the bills? And, it sounds drastic. But so is one life getting wasted in the everyday smallness. That too is a big thing. So if I'm ready, if I feel the craving, the longing, I have to take drastic steps. Or not, but at least I know that that is my choice, and it's okay if currently I can't choose right. Yes, Juan, would you like to share?
Yes,
Yeah, it's
can you hear me?
yeah, it started
Do you
fine,
hear
but
me?
there was a gap. You can, I think, start will be fine. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I was remembering a story of a Jewish rabbi who was called Baal Shem. When, in the time when he dies, God will not ask me, why didn't I wear Moses? But he will ask me, why didn't I was Baal Shem, like myself, right? He said that. And I work in a hospice in a place where we accompany people in the last stages of life, and I work with a psychologist really devoted to that work, uh, and she wrote a book called "What My Patients Taught Me Before They Died." Very beautiful book, and she talks about the usual regrets that people express when they are about to die. And well, there are some, like, about 5 or 10 things that are usually the regrets, that has to do mainly with love, with relations, with being ourselves, with enjoying our life. And she says, not once, not even, I met hundreds and hundreds of patients, and not even one ever told me he regretted making more money, and not making more money, or not, or haven't worked enough. This regret doesn't exist. No one regrets this. and that was, I was thinking about this example you gave of Tara Didi, and I was thinking, like, the person, like she probably works as much as a businessman, probably, even at 87, but she's work selflessly to some service, and I think this is a key difference. Like, we suffer and we fear mostly when we are trapped in our own egoism, in thinking always about ourselves, and gathering, and doing for ourselves, and this you gave about her. I was thinking that, like, there are so many people, there is a difference between really, making an effort, a constant effort to earn more for ourselves, and to grow in our power and wealth, and a very different thing is to, I think that, yeah, it doesn't drain our energies. Like, it's like God gives us anything we need if we are really engaged in doing this kind of things.
Yes, Sohan, thank you. It's amazing that we have all heard these things, right? Like the example that you shared, that, how she said that I have met hundreds and not one said, I wish I had made more money. And there's so many ads, these days where also, you see old people saying that, love more, worry less, it doesn't matter what you earn. And yet, when it comes to me, because I have bills, like, it's like I have expanded my life in such a way that I have so many bills to pay. I keep adding, right? I keep adding more things and more achievements, so called, the more definitions of success, that it's not possible for me to go back. It appears like that. The attachment to the level of comfort is so much that it feels that how will I live if not for this, if not for that. So again, this factor about this is real life that I have to earn and I have to pay this bill, and stops us from actually, like, right, living. So we are selling our, just using the term soul, for example, so that I can have, the, I don't know, I can vacation in the 7-star resort and stuff. So those times I'm looking forward to, but I'm not looking looking at the life, the days, the years that I'm throwing into nothing, and nothing is coming out of it. So if we can actually take this to be true and ask ourselves, maybe things can change. So Snehi, I think, had a question.
Yes, I don't know if I said it correctly because of my English, but what she asks is about the story. There was a rabbi called Baal Shem that said that when he dies, God will not ask him, why didn't you be Moses? But why didn't you be Baal Shem? He will ask to take out what I really was meant to be, something like that.
Yeah, I think right now also the moment you were explaining the thing got fine. So what I understood was that why, like, in my trying to be somebody else, like he would never ask me that why could I not be Buddha, but he would ask me why could I not be me, the role that I was given this. So that's what I understood with the things. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But there is so much noise in my life. There is so much chaos. There is so much to gain and greed and grasp and conquer that I don't know who I am anymore, right? That is the sad truth for a lot of us. So, what Jagan was sharing, right? It appears that it's like now one has started giving up, right? Okay, I don't want this definition. I don't want this definition. Let me see what gives me more joy. Let me see what gives me more delight. So it's like, going back. Yeah, so okay, there's another comment. Yeah, Snehi, would you like to unmute and say this so that we can all hear it?
Am I audible? Clearly audible?
Yeah, a little, yeah, it's very soft, but yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. It's uh, at the trial of God, we will ask, why did you allow all this? And the answer will be an echo. Why did you allow all this?
Yeah. Thank you. So yeah. Yeah. So it's my choice what I'm doing. So again, a great reminder that I am choosing how I live. I can choose how I'll die. Let me, but where am I spending my time? What am I doing to gain that victory over myself? Yeah. The topic is such that some things might appear too big or too far, and yet just knowing them, I think, is enough as the first step. So before we end, maybe we can take up one or two more passages from the document that we were sharing. I really like this one too, that some of the living are already half dead, and many of the dead are very much alive. Quite nice to see this. I think this too is good. If anybody would like to read it, otherwise I'll read it.
I'll do this, ma'am.
Yes, Jagan.
You speak of absolute renunciation, but to give up the body is not the absolute renunciation. The true and total renunciation is to give up the ego, which is a much more arduous endeavor. If you have not renounced your ego, to give up the body will not bring freedom to you. Okay.
Yeah, so somebody must have asked this question about, when I gave up the body, that would be true renunciation. But more than the body, Mother is saying, to give up the ego. Again, a long journey, but at least we know that this is the thing that keeps us small. This I had really liked, and this is a bit longer one. If Jagan, you want to continue, you can read this too.
Yes. Death is not at all what you believe it to be. You expect from death the neutral quietness of an unconscious rest. But to obtain that rest, you must prepare for it. When you die, you lose only your body and at the same time the possibilities of relation with and action on the material world. I'll just read this one more time. When you die, you lose only your body and at the same time the possibilities of relation with and action on the material world. But all that belongs to the viral world does not disappear with the material substance. All your desires, attachments, cravings persist with a sense of frustration and disappointment, and all that prevents you from finding the expected peace. To enjoy a peaceful and eventless death, you must prepare for it. And the only effective preparation is the abolition of desire. So long as we have a body, we have to act, to work, to do something. But if we do it simply because it has to be done without seeking for the result or wanting it to be like this or like that, we get progressively detached and thus prepare ourselves for a restful death. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jagan. So much of our society and our way of life is responsible for this, right? When Mother says death is not at all what you believe it to be. You expect from death the neutral quietness of an unconscious rest. Again, I know we have discussed it before, that we in our cleverness, and cleverness, my God, we have. Somebody leaves their body, we says that, okay, in Hindi we say, pura ho gaya, as in now he's complete. We send messages of rest in peace, that now he'll rest in peace. We name our burial grounds, burial places, Moksha Dham, that heavens, we call them, the way to the heaven. But someone who has not touched peace while he is living, how will he touch peace when he is gone? I might have not let somebody touch peace in their life because of my actions, my reactions. But then if they pass on, I say, oh, now he's at peace. How? So Mother clears that and says that, hello, death is not what you expect, right? Believe it to be. And what's very importantly, what she says, something that, we must learn, we must take with us is to obtain that rest. You must prepare for it. Similarly, when Mother talks about how should one sleep, she has the whole process, right? That you have to leave your body loose and you have to, it's like as if it's a rag, that there's nothing of it, it's just there. And then you drift into that restful sleep. So there's always something I have to do if I want to get something. So when you die, you lose only your body. And at the same time, the possibilities of relation with and action on the material world. So all you lose is the material world. But all that belongs to the vital world does not disappear with the material substance. All your desires, attachments, cravings persist with the sense of frustration and disappointment. So, here I would like to share a very small story that in that book, Life Beyond Death by Swami Abhedananda, I think that was one of the first books on death ever written. So in his research, he used to practice, he was into a lot of practices and he would practice leaving his body and moving around. So people can do that, of course, we know saints and sages. So he said that in one of those practices, he visited one retirement center where he was working before. And there in the restaurant, in the cafe, the coffee shop of that retirement home, he saw a lady who had, I think, died 24 years back or 40 years, I forget, so a very long time back. He saw her sitting in the restaurant complaining about the coffee, that how bad the coffee is of that restaurant, exactly how she used to do when she was alive. So nothing changes. It's not that suddenly from a devil I'll become a saint. Suddenly from all the ill will that I'm carrying, I suddenly am just a, white light. It won't happen. If I want to rest, if I want to be the angel, I'll have to start becoming an angel right now. That was a funny thing to say, but it's all here. Even there's a beautiful quote by Swami Vivekananda, right? That nothing changes. I'll pull that up. But just finishing this first. So all the white, what all that belongs to the vital world does not disappear with the material substance. All my desires, attachments, cravings persist with the sense of frustration and disappointment. And all that prevents you from finding the expected peace. Lots and lots, even in Buddhism, has been said on this, that how they talk about different realms. That in one of the realms, I remember reading that you have cravings and you are able to get the object of your craving, but there is absolutely no satisfaction. So here on earth, at least there is a temporary satisfaction, so you feel satisfied at least for some time. And yet there are other worlds, other realms where you have to be tortured. And this is the thing, that the vital is there, the desire is there, and you're able to grasp on and yet there is no fulfillment. And even they say that, how we talk about ghosts and different other entities. Those are basically vital beings who have those unfulfilled wishes, and they are looking that how do I get it fulfilled? How do I get it fulfilled? And they do it through the living. So if I don't want to be that ghost, I have to find that rest right now. I have to give up those cravings, those attachments as much as I can right now. So it's pretty scary, but the good thing is that we still hopefully have time and we can do something about it. So to enjoy a peaceful and eventless death, you must prepare for it. And the only effective preparation, as we read, is the abolition of desires. So long as we have a body, we have to act, to work, to do something. But if we do it simply because it has to be done, without seeking for the result or wanting it to be like this or like that, we get progressively detached and thus prepare ourselves for a restful death. There is this beautiful book from which I had shared the initial quote that whether I live or die, I am. It's a book called Death, Dying and Beyond by Dr. Alok Pandey, or Alok Da. He has done a lot of research and put a lot of things from so many places along with the teaching of Mother and Sri Aurobindo in that book. And in that, I remember there was this question that is death painful? And the answer was that if it's conscious, it's not. If my whole life, if I've been this body and only this body and seen myself as just this body, when it's detaching right from the material, it hurts. It hurts. It really hurts. But if in my life I've stepped back, got in touch with my little friend, my inside friend that we were talking about. If I've stepped back, if I've experienced that I am more, then it's very simple. Then there's no pain. So everything that I'm doing right now will help me or unhelp me, torture me for when I leave the body. So every action, every thought, everything that I'm able to transcend, every time I'm able to step back, that helps me in reaching that state. How beautiful is that? Again, it's my doing where I end up. So not taking any tension by hearing this, hopefully, but knowing that I can do more and I must do more because it is much more. It goes a much farther way what my actions are doing than what I think they are doing. So there was some question. Yeah, so Snehi is saying unconscious rest line. Where is that line? Okay. Yeah, from the beginning only you expect from death the neutral quietness of an unconscious rest. Yeah, so I think we did explain it that how we believe. Snehi, usually when we are in the body and when we are, say, not sleeping, if I want rest, I have to consciously rest, right? But when death comes, we just feel that, okay, now it's all just rest. So it's an unconscious rest. But Mother says no, there would not be any rest. And if you want rest, you have to prepare for it. So yes, we'll definitely be taking up, it's a huge, deep topic. I think we'll be taking at least, I don't want to give it a number, a few sessions on this. So we'll end the session here. It's 1 hour. So Yeah, we'd be taking up many more passages from Mother and Sri Aurobindo and other places for this. And just 1 second. Yeah. So again, one of my most favorite quotes, again, it was in the book Death, Dying and Beyond, where I had seen it. So here Sri Aurobindo says that no power can slay my soul. It lives in thee. Thy presence is my immortality. So if there is God, if God exists, and of course God exists, so there the presence of the God is a proof that I am immortal. So no power can slay my soul because the soul lives in thee, right? And if thee is present, I know I am immortal, nothing can kill me. So thanking grace, thanking divine, as we end the session today, this discussion. So grateful for this company, so grateful that we have the courage to take up such topics which usually are a bit uncomfortable for us because we usually avoid these discussions because as if I talk about death, it will become more real. But the question is, if I don't talk about it, does it become less real? And the answer is no. So may I have the courage, may we all have the courage to face reality and to make it as restful, peaceful, yet dynamic as possible. So praying for wellness, true wellness, joy, peace for everybody and myself. And may I remember and live the words that we have read today and find the courage to be more so that I can be less. Thank you.
Thank you.